Welcome, welcome. So, have you ever heard about movies? I'm sure you have. So, this is the topic I want to talk to you about today. What is with movies? So, if you're interested in movies, this is a great video for you. If you're not, you can go another place doing something else. So, um, yeah. The thing about movies, we actually put something on a screen and what we get from seeing on the screen. So a movie actually transcends the visual part. So if you're interested in things like this, stay on because I want to talk to you about a great movie, one of the greatest movies of all times. You have so much value in that movie and so much treasure things that you can learn about. So the movie I want to talk to you about today is the Chronicles of Narnia. So Chronicles of Narnia is one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm sure you heard of it, you heard about it. It's a great movie. And yeah, you might tend to say that this movie is for younger age and younger people, but it's not actually like that, because if you really understand what is behind the meaning of the movie, you actually get some very meaningful and awesome truths about it. So we have the Chronicles of Narnia. The Chronicles of Narnia actually was filmed mostly in New Zealand. So you have all kind of scenery there, like mountains, beautiful mountains and amazing forest. So New Zealand might be actually a very Narnian theme. And also other countries. So we have actually three Narnian movies. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So that was made in 2005. We have the Prince Caspian movie, so that was a little bit later on, and we have the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, so that's the last movie they made. So as I said, New Zealand is a very beautiful country, awesome scenery, and the mountains there, the nature, everything fitted so very well in what the book actually said, the Narnia book. So what I want to talk to you about is that you actually see here a lot of beautiful elements, So it's a movie where good triumphs against evil. You see redemption and forgiveness. You see sacrificial love, courage to face evil. So it's an awesome movie which presents a great world which is lived by Narnians and also humans. So you have like the Pevensie family, which is of Lucy, Edmund, Susan, and Peter. So these are the four characters that actually go into Narnia. So Lucy finds a magic wardrobe, and she's the one that actually opens the door from England, to the Narnian realm. So here in this movie, we have a lot of Christian elements. For example, in the first movie, you have like these four characters, and they actually, at some point, they find out about the reality of their realm. What is actually going on in Narnia? So they discover a land, and we have in this land different characters. So they find out about Aslan. Who is Aslan? Aslan is the king of Narnia, the true king. He's a lion, and he actually has a rule in Narnia. Good forces of Aslan actually are against the evil forces of the White Witch. This is a battle between good and evil. So we have Aslan, and Aslan is actually the one who actually represents Christ in this movie. Why do I say that? Because Aslan is the king, so Christ is also the king of kings. So Aslan actually has the power and authority to crown the four main characters. So He crowns Peter, so he is called High King Peter the Magnificent, right? He crowns Susan. She is called Queen Susan the Gentle. He crowns Edmund, which is King Edmund the Just. He crowns Lucy, which is Queen Lucy the Valiant. If we see here that he has the authority to give dominion, and he's actually king. So in this part, he is king over kings, right? So King of Kings, we actually find this in our world that Jesus Christ is actually King of Kings. So Aslan actually represents Jesus Christ. Yeah, so this is one of the things. This is at the final, but before the final, this is at the end of the first movie. But before the end of the first movie, we have the story of Edmund. So the story of Edmund actually is about forgiveness and redemption. He actually, because of pride and because of greed, he actually betrayed his siblings, his family, and the White Witch actually entangled him through this. So what Aslan did was actually to negotiate with the White Witch and actually get Edmund out of this situation. And actually, Aslan paid himself for the punishment that Edmund deserved. So we have the scene at the stone table where he's sacrificed, right? Yeah, so this is a true similarity between our world and Narnia, because Jesus Christ did the same thing, He gave his life for our ransom. He substituted us for the punishment we deserved. The stone table was not the last thing. So Aslan is actually resurrected. Yeah, he's resurrected like Jesus Christ. Yeah, actually, after this, Aslan goes to war against the White Witch and he wins, he defeats the dominion of the White Witch, and all Narnia was saved. The reign of the just queen and kings started after it. This is such a great story and great example to learn from and to understand this in a movie. Narnia is not a place with no problems. So though it was out of the real world they were in, about Lucy and Peter and the first siblings, they actually found a Narnia with evil was present in Narnia too. So this is a theme that actually goes through the stories of Narnia, because we can see this in every movie. So this is a battle between good and evil. So another thing that I want to talk to you about in this movie is that we actually see that there are tests and temptations in this movie. So in the third movie, you can see that Lucy and Edmund are tested, and they are tested in their own way. Specifically for them, Yeah, the temptation of Lucy was that she looked at the beauty of her sister Susan and she wanted to be like her. So she got tempted in this way. Actually, Aslan intervenes and she says to her that she is unique and she is special in her own way. So if it was not for Lucy, they would not find actually Narnia, and things go on, So it's like such a great example, because Lucy learns that true beauty comes from accepting like who you are, you were meant to be. It's such a great example, because this is actually a reality in our world too. We actually get tempted to want to be someone else, but God actually made us unique, and we actually all have the image of God in us in a way or another, because as humans are created after the image of God. So in every human being there is something of God, although you might not see it, but it is there. So yeah, it's such a great example and such a great similarity in this way. We see an Edmund that he learned from his past, and yeah, he actually stand firm against the false promises of the White Witch. He recognizes the White Witch deception, and he rejects her. he rejects the white witch and remains faithful to Aslan. So we see here an Edmund which is so much different than it was in the past. And this is such a great thing because God can use people in our day, people that in the past they have some sort of past and some sort of past mistakes, and now they are living a true life, a life where can they say no to those things from the past and live righteous and live with God. So it's such a great similarity because Edmund chooses to remain loyal to Aslan. So in this world, in our world, we can choose to remain loyal to God and to Christ, to Jesus Christ, and to actually stay like this and choose rightfully. Lucy and Edmund are such a great example because they get it right. I mean, they did not escape the test or the temptations. Sometimes we wish we would escape from them also in the things we go through in our life. But they did not escape from it. They actually gone through it and they were victorious because they had the power to do so. So Aslan was with them there, and I believe that Aslan was very proud of them. How he could not be, because they actually those two remain loyal to him in the end. So that's such a great thing. So I think this is true in our life too, because we can actually go through tests and temptations and things like that and actually remain loyal to Christ and to God and to move righteously in our life. So another character I want to talk to you about, which really caught up my attention, is actually their cousin Eustace. So their cousin Eustace is such an hard figure to play with. Eustace, at the beginning of the movie, the early stage of his character, he's really arrogant, self-centered, complaining, he's coward. He actually was very hard figure to be around. And yeah, he really was selfish, greedy, and negative in many ways. What I want to talk to you about is about his transformation. So, at some point in the movie, he actually got on a magic island and he is transformed to a dragon. So we have so much things to learn about this, because one thing you can learn about this is that Eustace actually becomes what he was inside already. So what was inside of you, Eustace actually got transfigured and got real on the outside. So this is such an interesting thing in the movie. So his greed, his selfishness, his being an arrogant actually made him a dragon. So he got with this, and yeah, it's actually pretty funny because a child like that gets to be transformed in a dragon, but it was what somehow he deserved to be, because that was his character, like an evil, bad character that he had. Eustace actually, after this moment, he goes through a process of inner transformation. He was outwardly looking like a dragon, but actually at the moment a transformation, some sort of transformation starts inside of him. At some point he starts to regret his behavior. It's a process that starts in the movie at some point. He starts to long to become a better person. So actually after this he discovers humility. So at the point of humility he can work on from that. And in the end of the movie, actually, he meets Aslan. So Aslan is the one who actually makes him child again. But actually, after he transforms him again from dragon to child again, actually he is changed. He becomes much more loyal, much more humble. He starts to have a good character inside. So yeah, this is one of the things that Aslan did in the movie for Eustace. So actually, Eustace says in the movie, Edmund asks him how it was when Aslan transformed him. So Eustace said that it hurt, but it was a good pain. So And actually, Eustace recognizes that he couldn't do it himself. So Eustace couldn't transform himself. Only Aslan could transform him. So this is such a real truth because only Aslan had the power to change Eustace. Aslan actually changed Eustace back to the form of dragon, to being child again, being human again. So this is what Christ does in us because we cannot change ourselves. We might have the will and the intention to do it, to want to change. But actually, the one who changes us is Jesus Christ, is God, is the way He works in us. It's a miracle that He does in us. So Jesus is the one who actually transforms us and makes us a new creation, a new person. So this is such a great resemblance or likeness between Aslan and Christ because this is the work of Christ that Jesus Christ does it, and we actually see him, Aslan, doing it in the Narnia movie. So it's like person of Jesus in another world. So you can see it like that. The story of Eustace actually has different aspects. It's a good example because people can change even if it's difficult. Another thing that you can learn from this story, that humility actually opens the door for you to change. So humility is somehow foundation for your future change, your future elevation. Eustace actually needs a person to actually change him from being a dragon to re-becoming what was before, but change. So in the same way, so Eustace needs a person to actually change him. So we need a person to actually change us. So it's another great thing because only God can actually change you. There are actually 7 books, so the movies were not in actually chronological order. They actually follows the publication order. So C.S. Lewis has a great quote. This is a quote where he actually addresses to his granddaughter. So he says in this quote, "But someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. You can take it down from some upper shelf, dust it off, and tell me what you think of it." He is suggesting that you should read again these stories. So when you read it as a child, you read it for adventure, for heroes, for magic lands, for all kind of these stories. But when you read it when you are an older age, it's different. It's not like you need to be old. It's just you need to be at a different stage in life, meaning that you could actually understand and see the meanings of the story. So this is like what he's referring. As a child, you read them in a way. As a grown up and who went through life with and found out about the joys of the life, the disappointments of life, the sufferings of life, about the victories in life, you can actually see these stories, and what he wrote in a much more different way, in a better way, I would say, because you actually understand what it's actually all about. People in life generally say that you should stop reading fairy tales and things like this as you go on. But actually, one of the greatest of all times, and I agree with him, you should start reading them again and start to really understand them and to see meanings that you were not able to see when you were of a younger age. So yeah, this is what he said, and I totally agree with him. You should retake these books, these stories, and be enriched. Narnian movies are amazing. You can learn a lot from them. There are so much meaningful things in this movie. So you gotta find that meaning behind the movie. So it's an awesome thing and an awesome story. It's a masterpiece actually, and I encourage you to watch the movies and to also read the books. Yeah, and thank you for being here with me on this episode, and I wish you all well and see you next time.